have I been getting calls?
Because this is like...
Why am I getting calls and I haven't even said anything?
Because this is the monster of all monsters.
Who? Me?
This Diddy case.
Why would I, Jason Lee, I'm getting calls. And I haven't even said anything. They ain't called me to go to the Rock Nation brunch. They haven't called me to go to the Gold Party.
To accept being honored.
They haven't called me when we offered to honor Jay-Z at the award show. They didn't call me to go to the press conference about striking the deal with the NFL while we were kneeling for Kaepernick. They didn't call me to ask me what I thought about her hair care product. They didn't call me to offer a free bottle of her perfume. I didn't get to go backstage on her tour for the Renaissance. In fact, when the video circulated, making it look like I've been chasing her around like a super fan, which I am a super fan, but I chase nobody. Nobody's called me to clear that up. I haven't gotten a delivery of white flowers with a little card from Beyonce. Why is everybody calling me now?
Oh, and you also stopped.
We not going to even go there. I stopped a major thing for Beyonce. Didn't even get a thank you.
But now everybody's
why? Why is everybody calling me now? Because I'm a firefighter. Because I run towards fires and I put them out or I fan the flames. But why is everybody calling me now? And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know, you got people calling me. While Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now. Ooh, and that's why I go back to like, we're friends in the game. We support each other. We help each other out. Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Law? Oh, there's one more thing. Beat this, Johnny.
Maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce. They're not going to share that with her.
Yvette knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts. Yvette know I got the receipts. I got them. Now, if I get that message to Beyonce.
Yes,
I can get it to I'm connected. I could get the message to Beyonce.
She needs to know.
And I think people like her publicist, who I love, and I'm just being critical. That's just what I do. You know that, Yvette. We're trying to book Kelly Rowland right now. Now, if I don't get Kelly Rowland because I say this about, then it's going to be a problem. Then I'm putting out receipts. The receipts I just told you about, then I'll put those out.
The fires that will come over there.
I ain't worried. I ain't going nowhere. I'm telling you right now, I'm not playing this industry game.
Jason Lee just dropped a bomb so explosive, even the Beyhive is trembling. And it has everything to do with Beyoncé's twins. According to Jason, he's not just speculating. He claims he's seen actual footage suggesting that Sir and Rumi Carter may be on the autism spectrum. And baby, the chaos behind the scenes? It's not just whispers. Solange, Beyoncé's fiercely protective sister, is allegedly in full-blown meltdown mode. For years, fans accepted Beyoncé's tight-lipped privacy around her youngest children. But Jason says it wasn't just about protecting boundaries. It was about concealing a diagnosis. And now that he's refusing to stay silent, the entire Knowles-Carter dynasty is scrambling. So what's in this so-called footage? Is it real? Or is Jason pushing too far, too fast? One thing's for sure. When it comes to Beyoncé's babies, people don't play. But Jason? He's playing for keeps. Jason Lee has always been messy, but this time, he cracked open a vault that even the boldest gossip bloggers never dared touch. In a single explosive podcast episode, he claimed to have seen actual footage. Not hearsay, not speculation, not anonymous DMs, but footage that allegedly proves Beyoncé and Jay-Z's twins, Sir and Rumi Carter, are on the autism spectrum. And when he said it, he wasn't trembling. He didn't hedge. He looked straight into the camera, doubled down, and let the words hit the floor like a dropped crystal goblet. For years, whispers about the twins have swirled just beneath the surface, never quite loud enough to reach headlines. Fans would notice how rarely they appeared, how carefully controlled every glimpse was. A blurred photo here, a heavily edited tour clip there, but nothing close to unfiltered access, and Jason just claimed to know why. The minute he said it, the internet cracked open like an egg. The Beyhive, already known for being fiercely protective, immediately went into defensive overdrive. But this wasn't a rumor started in a shady Reddit thread. This was Jason Lee, a man with industry reach, ego the size of a stadium, and just enough credibility to make people stop and listen. According to Jason, this wasn't just him speculating. He claimed he'd seen proof, actual video footage that, in his words, made the twins' condition undeniable. No vague language, no tiptoeing. He went all the way there. And that's where things took an even darker turn, because as the rumor spread, sources close to the Knowles-Carter family started whispering that Solange was not handling it well. Solange, known for being spiritual, sensitive, and above all, a ride or die for her family, is reportedly spiraling behind the scenes. Not just shaken, spiraling. Some say she broke down in tears when she heard Jason's name trending with her nephew's medical condition. Others claim she's been calling in favors, digging into her spiritual bag, and even threatening to confront Jason herself. Not with a lawsuit, but something a little more esoteric. After all, this isn't just an invasion of privacy. It's an attack on the one thing Beyoncé has worked tirelessly to protect since the twins were born: their silence, their dignity, their anonymity. Behind closed doors, insiders say the family is rattled. Solange, especially, is said to be furious that something so sacred, a child's neurodivergence, has become tabloid fodder. She allegedly believes this is a karmic breach, and her energy is anything but calm. Think candles burning low, late-night phone calls, and protective circles being drawn. And while Beyoncé remains silent, as she always does when chaos brews, it's Solange who's feeling the hit personally. Jason didn't just expose a secret. He violated a boundary that was never meant to be crossed, and in doing so, he may have triggered a war the public won't be ready for. Because here's the thing, this isn't just about gossip anymore. This is about a child, 2 children, being dragged into the public eye against their will. And Solange? She's not about to let that slide. Word is, she's already sending signals, warning Jason to back off before things get spiritual, personal, and unforgiving. And if the rumors about that voodoo altar are true, Jason might have just summoned something he can't control. From the very beginning, Beyoncé made it clear that her twins were off limits. When Sir and Rumi were born, the announcement came in the form of an ethereal, goddess-like Instagram post, flowing veil, lush flowers, a halo of light. And then, silence. No press conference. No Oprah special. No televised baby shower. Just a curated glimpse, then the door slammed shut. For over 6 years, fans accepted it as Beyoncé being Beyoncé. Mysterious, private, above the noise. Unlike Blue Ivy, who had already become a Grammy-winning preteen icon in her own right, Sir and Rumi were almost ghost children, occasionally appearing in a blurry background or tucked behind a veil of choreography, but never clearly seen, never clearly heard. People chalked it up to artistic boundaries, maternal instinct, or even trauma from past media invasions. Beyoncé has long cultivated an image of being both present and untouchable, the kind of star who can sell out stadiums without ever doing a press tour. So when she pulled the twins out of public view, no one questioned it. In fact, many praised her for protecting their peace. But now, Jason Lee has flipped the entire narrative on its head. He's claiming the absence wasn't just about privacy. It was a strategic concealment, a deliberate cover-up. According to Jason, the reason the twins are kept away from cameras isn't about shielding them from fame. It's about hiding something deeper. He claims Beyoncé wasn't just being private. She was being calculated, crafting a controlled illusion of perfection while managing a truth she didn't want the world to see. And now that Jason's dropped his bombshell, fans are rewatching interviews, rereading Beyoncé's words, and reinterpreting every grainy photo of the twins as a clue. Every shadowy glimpse of Sir, every tightly edited tour visual featuring Rumi, it's all being seen through a different lens. The silence feels less like protection and more like erasure. But Jason didn't stop there. Once he cracked that door open, he kicked it down and declared open war on the Carters. What started as a bold statement quickly morphed into a personal vendetta. Jason claims that Beyoncé's team, the same one that's ignored him for years, suddenly flooded him with phone calls after he hinted at what he knew. Not when he praised her. Not when he tried to honor Jay-Z at an award show. Not when he offered to promote her perfume or hair care line. But now that he's threatening to expose her family's most vulnerable secret, now they want to talk. Jason, ever the showman, laid it all bare on his podcast. The tone wasn't just gossipy, it was wounded, angry, betrayed. He rattled off every time the Carters overlooked him, every time they excluded him from the Rock Nation brunch, every unacknowledged favor. And now, with barely veiled resentment, he says the same people who left him on read are suddenly begging him to keep quiet. Not in public, of course. Beyoncé would never. But Jason alleges her team, handlers, publicists, mutuals, reached out behind the scenes, attempting to soothe the storm with soft threats or subtle bribes. And baby, Jason took it personally. You could hear the ego dripping from his voice as he painted himself as both the victim and the villain. The firefighter, as he called himself, deciding whether to put out the fire or fan the flames. His words weren't just calculated, they were emotional. This wasn't tabloid drama. This was a man scorned, waving receipts and veiled threats, determined to make them pay attention. After years of trying to earn their respect, Jason is now positioning himself as the one person powerful enough to crack the Carter fortress. And in his mind, they should have never let it get to this point. This isn't about clout anymore. It's about revenge. Jason feels used, discarded, and underestimated. And he's making it clear that if Beyoncé won't give him a seat at the table, he'll burn the whole thing down instead. This wasn't just about the twins. This wasn't just about rumors. For Jason Lee, this was personal. And once he opened that emotional floodgate, the tea turned into a full-on storm. On his podcast, Jason didn't just allege Beyoncé was hiding a diagnosis. He unpacked years of what he saw as deliberate slights, subtle snubs, and industry disrespect. And the way he laid it all out, you could tell this wasn't some sudden beef. This was resentment that had been simmering for years. It started with the Rock Nation brunch, the most exclusive flex in Black Hollywood. Every influencer, mogul, and artist with clout gets that invite. Champagne, power suits, secrets whispered behind tinted shades. It's the unofficial who's who of Jay-Z's empire. But Jason? Crickets. Year after year, no invite. No acknowledgement. Not even a courtesy call. And for a man who built his brand elbow to elbow with the industry elite, that silence was loud. Then came the Renaissance Tour, one of the biggest pop culture events in recent history. And Jason wasn't even offered a backstage pass. Not a ticket, not a press credential, not even a repost on his platform. For a self-professed superfan, that exclusion cut deep. But it didn't stop there. Jason rattled off the list like it had been living rent-free in his mind. Beyoncé's hair care launch? He wasn't sent a single product. Her new perfume line? Not even a PR box. When Jay-Z was being honored and Jason tried to celebrate him on his platform, the Carters didn't even send a thank you. And that video that went viral, the one that made Jason look like he was chasing Beyoncé through a crowd like a crazed fan, he says it was edited to make him look desperate. But no one from her team called to set the record straight. No apology. No flowers. No card. Just more silence. But suddenly, now that he's cracked the lid on her biggest secret, now everyone wants to talk. Jason made it clear. Now he's getting calls. Back channels. Industry intermediaries. People checking in, asking questions, trying to smooth things over. But to Jason, the damage is already done. That cold shoulder he got when he was trying to uplift them, that's what turned him. And now he's not just a blogger. He's an insider with a grudge and receipts. His voice, layered with ego and injury, said it all. Jason wasn't just throwing shade. He was demanding recognition. Recognition he feels he earned through years of support, years of promotion, and years of playing nice. And when he didn't get it, he decided to flip the script. No more quiet loyalty. No more holding back. Jason went from being a Carter loyalist to their loudest liability. He even addressed Jay-Z directly, not with fear, but with fire. He didn't just call out the team. He looked into the camera and challenged Jay himself. Told him to stop sending people to do the talking. Call me yourself, he said. You know how to find me. That wasn't a request. It was a demand. Jason made it clear. If Beyoncé and Jay-Z want this to stop, they better show him the respect he feels they denied him for years. Because as far as he's concerned, he's not the one who crossed the line. They are. By ignoring him, minimizing him, and thinking he wouldn't bite the hand that refused to feed him. So now he's biting. Hard. And the more they try to ignore him, the louder he gets. Jason Lee has positioned himself as the one voice Beyoncé can't mute, the one connection Jay-Z can't control, and the one fire that Solange might not be able to put out. What started as petty industry politics has now become a deeply personal crusade. And Jason's made it clear, he's not just hurt. He's vindictive, and he's finally ready to talk. Now here's where things take a sharp turn. Because Jason Lee isn't just relying on gossip, whispers, or secondhand tea. He's dragging Beyoncé's own words into the spotlight and using her carefully crafted narrative as ammunition. The way Jason tells it, Beyoncé's silence wasn't just strategic. It was laced with subtle hints. And if you go back, really go back, he says the signs were always there. Let's start with the medical history. The one moment when Beyoncé cracked her own wall and let the world peek behind a velvet rope. It was 2018, and she sat down with Vogue for that now iconic September issue. In it, she opened up briefly but powerfully about what she went through while carrying her twins. She revealed that she developed toxemia, now known as preeclampsia, a pregnancy complication that affects both mother and child. She was placed on bed rest for over a month, her body swelling and shutting down. And in her own words, she admitted that she underwent an emergency C-section. One of the twins, though she never said which, had their heartbeat stopped during delivery. It was a traumatic, near-death experience. At the time, fans were heartbroken for her, but they moved on. Beyoncé had survived, the babies were alive, and that was that. But now, in the context of Jason's allegations, people are rereading that interview with new eyes. Because preeclampsia isn't just any complication. There are studies linking it to higher risks of developmental disorders, including autism. And with Jason claiming both Sir and Rumi are on the spectrum, with Sir allegedly experiencing a more severe condition, suddenly, that Vogue confession sounds less like a heartfelt anecdote and more like a breadcrumb trail Beyoncé was quietly laying down. And then there's how she talks about her children, especially Sir. In interviews and speeches, Beyoncé has always spoken glowingly about Blue Ivy, praising her poise, her creativity, her leadership. When she mentions Rumi, it's usually in the context of strength, energy, independence. But when she speaks about Sir, the tone shifts. It becomes more careful, more protective, more coded. In one particularly telling quote, Beyoncé said she hopes Sir will be brave in a cruel world, that she wants to protect him from what the internet says he should be and help him affirm his own existence. At first glance, it sounds poetic, a mother loving her son. But when you pair it with Jason's claims, it hits different. That phrase, affirm his own existence, felt like a soft whisper of something unspoken. A subtle signal that Sir might not fit easily into the public mold, and that Beyoncé knows it. Jason's interpretation? She was signaling the truth without ever saying it directly. And now, he's holding those words up as proof. He's saying Beyoncé has been hiding in plain sight, not denying her son's condition, but never owning it either. Just enough vulnerability to earn empathy, but never so much that it disrupts the image of perfection she's built over decades. And while some fans are defending her, saying she has every right to protect her children, others are starting to connect the dots. The rare appearances, the tightly controlled media, the way Rumi is occasionally seen, but Sir remains practically invisible. Jason is painting a picture where Beyoncé's carefully curated silence was actually a PR strategy, one designed to shield not just Sir, but her own brand from being seen as imperfect. It's a bold accusation, one that risks turning admiration into suspicion. Because if Jason is right, if Beyoncé has been gently, silently concealing something so personal, then the question becomes why? Was it shame, fear, control, or just a mother trying to keep something sacred in a world that devours everything? Jason's not pretending to know the answer, but he's making damn sure everyone's asking the question. Jason's theories didn't stop at the autism claim. He took it one step further, splitting the Carter twins into two entirely different realities. According to Jason, there's a reason the public has seen more of Rumi than Sir, and it has nothing to do with privacy and everything to do with perception. In Jason's telling, Rumi Carter is high-functioning, maybe even neurodivergent, but capable of presenting the kind of poise and personality the public adores. And that's why, from red carpet cameos to carefully curated Instagram shots, Rumi makes the cut. She appears in photo dumps. She gets moments on stage. She's allowed to be seen. But Sir? Jason claims that's a different story. According to him, Sir's condition is allegedly more serious, possibly nonverbal, possibly requiring round-the-clock support. Jason even suggests that Beyoncé and Jay-Z made the conscious decision to keep him out of the spotlight entirely because of how his condition might disrupt the brand. Not just the Carter brand, but Beyoncé's own image of control, excellence, and untouchable perfection. And then he dropped the real bomb, a theory that's already sparked internet chaos. Jason claims Sir Carter doesn't live with his parents full-time. In fact, he suggests the child may be placed in a full-time care facility, completely hidden from the public eye and from Beyoncé's own narrative of motherhood. If true, it would be a shocking departure from the hyper-curated family image the Carters have spent years building. The polished holiday photos, the Grammys tributes, the rare peeks behind the scenes that always seem just candid enough to feel real, but controlled enough to stay on message. Jason's framing is brutal. He says this isn't about protecting Sir. It's about managing the optics. The visual separation between Rumi and Sir is no accident. It's strategic. And in his eyes, the more Rumi is shown, the more glaring Sir's absence becomes. Fans are torn. Some accuse Jason of exploiting a child's possible diagnosis for clout. Others are saying the silence surrounding Sir has always been suspicious, and that Beyoncé has been manipulating the narrative under the guise of privacy. But whether you believe Jason or not, one thing is clear. The image of Beyoncé as the untouchable, all-seeing matriarch has now been pierced. And Jason isn't finished. Next in Jason's crosshairs, Kelly Rowland, Beyoncé's sister in everything but blood. Jason claims he gave Kelly a choice. Come on my show, or I drop everything I know. And he says she knows exactly what he's talking about. According to Jason, he allegedly tried to broker a deal behind the scenes. A peace offering. If Kelly Rowland, someone Beyoncé has trusted for decades, would sit down for an exclusive, Jason would hold back the most damning receipts. He says he didn't want to burn every bridge, but he wasn't going to stay silent forever unless someone from the inner circle gave him the platform he felt he deserved. This wasn't just a request, it was a warning. And the implication was clear. Kelly's refusal to appear meant Jason was now free to go nuclear. Why Kelly? Because in Jason's view, she represents the human side of the Knowles-Carter empire. The girl next door, the grounded one, the one who could have diffused this quietly. But when she allegedly ghosted him, Jason saw it as confirmation that the entire circle was closing ranks, and that meant all bets were off. Now he's openly threatening to expose everything. And the audience is watching Kelly with hawk eyes, waiting to see if she'll respond, deny, or stay loyal to the woman she once called her soulmate. Either way, Jason's made his next move, and Kelly is officially on the board. Now, we get to the boldest allegation yet, the one that's left the internet gasping. On his podcast, Jason declared, with zero hesitation, that Sir Carter is being locked away in a private facility. Not for elite education, not for protection from the press, but because, according to Jason, Sir's condition is too severe, too complicated, and too disruptive for Beyoncé's brand of curated motherhood. And here's the kicker. Jason claims this has been the situation for years, that Sir has essentially been erased from the Carter public narrative, relegated to an anonymous building under 24-hour care, while his family posts filtered birthday tributes and makes speeches about Black excellence. This claim has split the internet in half. Some are calling it abandonment, plain and simple, a betrayal of everything Beyoncé claims to stand for. These critics say, if Jason's right, the Carters have chosen brand optics over family, hiding a child to preserve a fantasy of perfection. They point to how Beyoncé has championed Black motherhood, how she celebrates strength and softness in her art, and how devastating it would be to discover she's been hiding her own son out of fear he wouldn't fit the image. Others are pushing back hard, saying this isn't abandonment, it's specialized care. If Sir does have complex medical needs or neurological conditions, then putting him in a full-time therapeutic environment may not be cruel. It may be the most loving, necessary thing a parent can do. This camp argues that Jason is spinning responsible parenting into scandal, using a child's possible disability for clicks and chaos. But even if the locked-away theory is wrong, even if Sir isn't in a facility, the damage is already done. Because now, every photo that doesn't include him, every Carter event where he's mysteriously absent, every carefully controlled public appearance, it all looks different. It all feels intentional. And that's the real danger of Jason's campaign. He's reframed Beyoncé's entire brand, from mystery and privacy to concealment and shame. And whether the receipts are real or not, the speculation has taken root. The Carter family isn't just under scrutiny. They're under siege. Just when the dust almost started to settle, Azealia Banks strutted in like a storm in 6-inch heels. Never one to miss a cultural detonation or light her own match, Azealia didn't just comment on Jason's claims, she amplified them. In a now viral tweet, Banks didn't mince words. She accused Beyoncé of hiding her child, full stop, echoing Jason Lee's theory that Sir Carter has been effectively erased from the family's public image. But Azealia didn't stop there. She said the industry has always known that something was off with Beyoncé's twin son, and that the reason for his absence wasn't privacy. It was shame, image control, and silence. And then came the kicker. It's giving throwback Southern respectability politics, Azealia wrote. Y'all love to act liberated in your lyrics, but you're still scared of what people will say if your kid isn't perfect. That tweet was gasoline on Jason's bonfire. He immediately reposted it, quoted it, praised it. Suddenly, this wasn't just Jason versus Beyoncé. It was Jason and Azealia against a $1 trillion image machine. And like clockwork, the internet spiraled. The Beyhive went into overdrive, trying to discredit Azelia's mental health, her past beefs, her volatility. But some fans quietly admitted that she might be saying the quiet part out loud. Jason leaned in harder. He said this isn't a theory anymore. It's a movement. And with Azelia's cultural chaos credentials backing him, he doubled down. According to Jason, this isn't just about Beyoncé hiding Sir. It's about a dynasty built on silence, smoke, and sacred performance finally getting its mask ripped off. But what happens when the people pulling back the curtain might be just as unpredictable as the spectacle itself? And then, in the most unexpected twist of all, the spiritual fog rolled in, courtesy of Auntie Solange. For weeks, fans have been trying to decode a cryptic Instagram story from Solange Knowles, a dimly lit altar surrounded by candles, black stones, an open bowl of water, and a single burning offering. She didn't tag anyone. She didn't say a word. But the post sent the spiritual corners of Black Twitter into a frenzy. Some thought it was a nod to ancestral healing. Others said it was a warning. Initially, the speculation centered around Nicki Minaj, especially after her own spiritual battles and Jason's past beefs with the Barbs. But now, Jason's flipping the script. According to him, that altar wasn't for Nicki. It was aimed at him. Jason says Solange has always been the quiet storm of the Knowles empire, the one who doesn't need to speak because her energy does the talking. And now, he claims Solange has spiritually marked him for what he's doing. Not with legal threats, not with PR damage control, but with something far older and more potent. Some say Solange is quietly working behind the scenes, not to defend Beyoncé, but to protect the legacy, not just of the Carter family, but of their bloodline. Remember, this is a woman who released an album inside a church, danced barefoot in Louisiana fields, and once beat down Jay-Z in an elevator without blinking. Solange doesn't play industry games. She plays energy. And if Jason's right, this whole battle just left the realm of PR and entered the spiritual. Beyoncé may be the face of the empire, but Solange is its shield, its enforcer, and maybe, just maybe, its final line of defense. And now, we've reached the edge of the cliff. Jason Lee claims there's more footage, more proof, more receipts, things that if released could burn everything down. He says he's holding back, but the silence from the Carters is only making him louder. He says they tried to buy his silence. That Beyoncé's team offered access, invitations, and even backdoor deals if he would just go quiet. But he didn't. He couldn't. Not after the years of feeling used, dismissed, and cast aside. Not after the Rock Nation brunch snubs. The tour seat denials. The years of kissing the ring, only to be treated like an outsider. Jason says he was never invited in. He was tolerated. And now, he's flipping the table. But here's the dangerous part. He's winning the internet. Even people who don't trust him are listening. Because whether he's bitter or brave, attention-starved or finally speaking truth, Jason Lee is dragging skeletons out of the Carter closet in real time. And the Carters? They've gone dark. No statements. No photos. No rebuttals. Just silence. Which, in this case, might say everything. But the stakes couldn't be higher. Because if what Jason is saying is true, if Sir Carter has been institutionalized, if Beyoncé has manipulated public sympathy through selective visibility, if even Kelly Rowland was offered up as a peace pawn, then we are witnessing not just the fall of a PR empire, but a full-scale crisis of legacy. Solange may yet strike, spiritually, musically, or through quiet influence, to reassert control. But with every day Jason stays loud, and every day the Carter stays silent, the pressure builds. So here's the real question. Has Jason Lee gone too far? Or has he done the one thing no one else has dared? Forced the truth out of a dynasty built on curated mystery, generational protection, and the illusion of perfection. Because whether you love Beyoncé or think Jason's full of it, we are watching the gods bleed. And no matter how this ends, nothing will ever be the same.